Many Bothans died. Bring us this information.
Hello and welcome everybody to this year's guide to all the practical details for the Star Wars Unlimited Galactics 2026, coming up in 2 weeks time-ish from time of filming. It's getting really close. The enthusiasm is palpable. I can feel the hype. We're getting there, and FFG have very kindly updated their website for SWU for the Galactics 2026 with a lot more information, which has finally allowed me to feel like I have enough information to repeat the video that I did last year. As with a lot of the videos that I do for Unlimited Power, the information that is in here is stuff that I think will be very useful to me, stuff that I want to know, and if I want to know it, then that means there's a good chance that other people are going to want to know it as well. So here I am, collating it all and sharing it with yourselves. So let's kick on with it, shall we? Yeah, wasting no more time. Contents. This is going to be a bit of a long video. There's no bones about it. It's going to go through a lot of detail, a lot of information. There will be timestamps in the video description below if you want to skip to any particular scene or area or topic covered in the contents here that you want to see. Go and do so. Jump back and around in doing so. There's a vast amount of information in here. So yeah, I hope I've covered everything that is going to be. There's a few things that I've not covered, but I'll mention those as we go along. But let's jump right in. Maps of the immediate area. We're going to be looking at the Venetian itself and the Expo, and specific maps for the Galactics Hall itself. We'll be obviously landing in Las Vegas, those of us who are flying in. Hey, there we go, that's Las Vegas. This is a Google Maps of the immediate area that is relevant to most people who are going to be travelling in from international. You'll be landing at the Harry Reid International Airport, or whatever the other name is for it that I've temporarily forgotten, but that's not the Google Maps, so I'm calling it the Harry Reid one because that's what's right there in front of me. You're going to get a taxi ride, which is about half an hour or so up to the Venetian Expo, or the Venetian, which are the red dots here. I can do them there. You've got the airport going around here, and then taxi ride takes you up round this way. And if you're staying in the Venetian, you'll go around this side up and round, and then the Venetian Expo is where the Galactics itself is taking place. And I've also highlighted Treasure Island on here because A, that's where I'm going to be staying, and B, it's where a lot of people who will be using a block booking from the KTOD community group Discord will be staying as well. It's really cute. It's just over the road. It's cheaper than the Venetian. It's right there. I saw absolutely no reason not to take advantage of it last year, and I'm doing supplement all of this with things that we're going to be doing. Zooming in a little bit here, we've got the actual venue itself, the Venetian Expo halls. The convention centre is where the Galactic's taking place. The main entrance and door is sort of around here. You go in, you go upstairs, and then the halls themselves will be where the Expo and the Galactic's taking place. You've got the Venetian itself with the main hotel here. You've got another main hotel part of it here. Then you've got all the stores and restaurants and casinos and stuff over there, and you've got the Treasure Island Hotel literally just over the road in a great place. And something else that I found out last year that was really helpful to me is there's a lovely little bridge with this little red line here. You come out of Treasure Island, you walk down the road, you don't want to cross this freeway which is massive traffic going potentially high speeds, so you can just go up a ramp here over the bridge and straight into the Venetian and follow it all the way through into the Venetian Expo Hall. And this is what that looks like if you've exited the you've exited the Treasure Island, which is behind you at this point. You see how these escalators here, you go up the steps or the escalators over the bridge, and you're in the Venetian, and from there you'll walk through to the Expo halls, convention hall. This is the Venetian itself, one of its promotional shots. You've got the Treasure Island Hotel down here. This little bit there is the bridge where you walk across and in. Then you go through there through to the actual convention halls, which is sort of there, and also just round the back and behind this large skyscrapery part, which is one of the hotel buildings, and you've got another of the hotel buildings here, and the casino and restaurant areas are all round here. But that little bit there, and the way it goes behind, is the convention halls. So, getting into and through the Venetian. Oh, by the way, copies of all of these maps are in a link to a OneDrive I've set up in the video description below this. You'll be able to download PDF copies of the official Venetian maps. The maps that I've done here to find useful, you'll be able to download them as well as copies of the schedules that you'll see later, the times, both the images and the master Excel sheet that they've got, so you can take that and mess around with it as much as you want, can customize it, tweak it, delete what you don't care about, highlight all the jazz. So check out the OneDrive link. it is there to be a useful resource, please do. It also means you don't necessarily need to screenshot this video and go backwards and forwards. So this is the Venetian itself. These are the two levels that we're going to be looking at as pertinent to getting into the convention centre and the Venetian Expo halls. So just going into a little bit more detail here. This is level 2, which is the first floor in the correct British terms, of course, the floor above the ground floor. If you were coming across from the Treasure Island and you went over the bridge, you would enter here in this area, and then you'd go down the escalators into... Oh, no, that's the wrong way. That's backwards. Into level 1, which would take you down to this area here, and walk along there, go through the casino areas, walk around here, round a corner, there's a grill restaurant there, and down this hallway through to the convention centre, and you're actually on the correct floor that you need to be for the Galactics from there. And this map is also really, really useful because you can see all of the restaurants that are in the area. You can access to them, where the food court is, all sorts of information. The PDF that this map came from is in the download section that I mentioned, and has got a full key so that you've got access to all the information that you may need for where you want to go at any given point, which will be really, really helpful if you don't want to leave the safely air-conditioned place, because Vegas is going to be bloomin' hot in a desert in the middle of July, because that is the way of things, indeed. Yeah, right, cool. This is Venetian Expo halls themselves, convention halls. That's one of the high-rise hotels that we saw, and that's the other one. And this is the front drop-off entrance area of the Venetian Expo and the convention halls. This is another map that they have provided of it. A lot of this we will not be using. We will specifically be using halls A and B for the Star Wars Unlimited Galactics. Anything that is not halls A and B are not advertised by FFG as being in use for the Galactics. So bear that in mind, or use it or don't. It's information. This is another plan of that particular area. We've got halls A and B here, so you can see more information, including where restrooms are, toilets, various other facilities and bits of information about the immediate area, including first aid and emergency exits and so forth, which is always very, very useful to know. And then we go to the maps provided by FFG for what they're going to be setting up in halls A and B, and what's where and why. So, from the start, we've got the key here. They're all colour-coded. It's very useful. I'm going to go through it from start to finish, just to make sure that it's all explained and clear as to what's going on here and why. This here, this screen number 1, these are for the scheduled events. This is where the main event will be taking place. This is where the LCQ will be taking place. This is where the Galactic Open and the Eternal Opens will be taking place. Possibly also the scheduled side events. I would expect they'd be included in here as well, but I'm not 100% certain. Then again, it says scheduled events, so I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be the case. Number 2 here is a prize wall. On Sunday, this will be reserved for people competing in the scheduled events, whereas there's another prize wall here that you'll be able to use quite freely throughout the entire weekend. Anybody having 2 prize walls is intended to block some of the issues that cropped up last year, of which there were a few. Side event tickets will be required to participate in anything that is not on the Melee event hub, which will include the LCQ, or Last Chance Qualifier, the main event, the Galactic Open, or the 2 Eternal Opens. You will need side event tickets to take part in other scheduled side events or on-demand side events. You can buy them at green number 3 here, or I think there's a green number 3 down here as well. This little area is confusing to me. I'm not sure what's going on here. I can't quite read the labels, but I believe this is going to be the entrance hall and where tickets are dished out first thing in the morning, and where you collect your tickets and so forth. That would be my supposition. Like I said, it's not entirely clear, but there we go. Right, number 4, deck check station. This is where refs will be doing deck checks. Pretty straightforward. On-demand events will be taking place here. That's what the thing says, so that is the thing. That's where your on-demand side events will be. P, this is going to be a hall set aside for panels to be taking place. This is where various devs and content creators will be on a stage and talking at you for an hour or so, maybe taking some questions. Previously this was on a different floor, but they've now incorporated it all into one floor, and all in the same place in halls A and B, which I think is a very positive move, and I'm very happy to see it. I just hope there's no real problems with sound leakage or issues with that, or capacity either. Content creator space has been reserved as here, CC. This is a place where anybody who is a content creator, such as myself, or the Bothan Network, or KTOD, or Thork, or Woo, or Any of the other many content creators that you will know and be aware of through Star Wars Unlimited have the chance to go and set up shop and meet you, the fans, have some games, do whatever they want to do, so that will be interesting to see. I confess I almost certainly won't be there except to check in and go and see some people myself, because I will be wandering around this event the entire time, making the most of being. Information desks. If you want to learn information about what's going on, there's an information desk here, there's an information desk here up by the panels, there's an information desk here down in this area, which is probably entry halls and tickets, like I said before. If you have purchased a Prestige VIP ticket, there will be a lounge for your sole use up here by the main stage, where there will be food and drinks and rest areas and so forth, I'm given to understand. Collect areas, let's go through the orange stuff. GameGenics store will be here, showing off all their accessories and having them on sale. The show store will be here. We'll go into the details of what the exhibitors do a little bit later on in this video, so don't worry that I'm glossing over some of these. Asmodee shop there. Vegas Pro Sports here. I'm not entirely sure what Vegas Pro Sports is. I don't think they were listed on the exhibitor list, so curious. Okay. 5 kayfabe cards. 6 we've got tier 1 games there. 7 bricks and minifigs on stream. Jack Brumell, the community manager, did say there was going to be something involving Lego displays, so that's going to be interesting to check out and see. And 8 will be Rochester CCG here, will be there if you want to go and find those. Restrooms and bathrooms in the middle of the hall, on the far left of the hall and the far right of the hall, at least as we're looking at it in this orientation anyway. Pin Passport is PP. PP. That will be the desk where you go to register for it, and I'll talk a little bit more about Pin Passport later on in the video. Once again, I'm not going to go into it here. This is just a map to describe where things are. Eating areas and tables. Anything with E and this purple is going to be essentially empty tables for you to go and sit down and eat or play some games casually or do whatever you want to do around some tables with your friends or random people you've met. Connect space in the blue. 1 will be free play zone. 2 will be the chill zone with a whole bunch of sofas. It was last year. Hopefully there'll be some screens so that people can watch the streaming games going on this time. There wasn't last year, but hopefully that will have changed this year. Family zone there. 3, if you brought any kids, then hopefully they will have things to go on to entertain them over there. That is what I would expect. 4, a beginner's zone. If you're coming to Star Wars Galactics, I'd be surprised if you're a beginner, but maybe you've brought family with you who are interested in seeing the show as well and they want to learn how to play. They can do that there. 5, trading zones. 6, how to learn the format. 7, the designer depot. Again, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later, but ultimately that's where you can play the devs and studio members and get signings done from them. Photo ops 8 here and here. These will be where the Millennium Falcon cockpit and TIE Fighter and other photo opportunities in Star Wars atmospheres will be. And 9 is Artist Alley, where there will be 6 artists at various times throughout the event who have done cards for Star Wars Unlimited that you can go and get signed and have a little chat with. C will be concessions for food and drinks and snacks and so forth. These will, they're structures that are part of the hall. They're always there, so that will be a thing. Okay, that's gone through the map section in some detail. Oh no, I literally haven't mentioned the one thing here, which is main stage. This will be a stage area where, if it's anything like last year, that will be where the stream matches are and take place, and also when the Galactics report takes place, that will be where probably Jim Cartwright, possibly Will, possibly both, get up on stage and talk to us all about what is coming in the future in Star Wars Unlimited and how successful it is and all the other things that they want to talk to and froth and hype at us about, which I would love to see, to be honest. Okay, right, moving on. The schedule, the times, as I said, these schedules are all available in the download section in the link in the OneDrive in the video description below. So this is a Thursday, there's not a lot on Thursday. All you can do is early badge pickup, and if you do, you will get a free card anytime between 2 o'clock and 8 PM. The free card is a Hu Yang, I think, with the worlds between treatment to it. Sort of be textured and foiled and only available in this particular situation, so extremely rare. If you get it, if you can do so, do so. It'll save you a lot of time queuing on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, but let's face it, probably Friday if you're there on Thursday. Moving on to Friday, I decided I wanted to see everything going on in one time frame as much as possible, so I went into Excel and I typed it all in, and this is what I came up with. So you can see here all the various times, what's going on from doors open, badge pickup, when gameplay begins, when the prize wall opens, when the main hall closes, when the last chance qualifier is running from and hopefully to, where the various scheduled side events are taking place, when the Connect space is open, when artists will be sat down for signing, when the devs and members of the Fantasy Flight Games studio will be sat down and available for duels and signings, and the developer drafts, if you're a Prestige VIP ticket holder, will be taking place from. And the various panels that will be taking place and what times and the titles of the panels, so that you can hopefully at one look take a look at this, decide what you want to do, when you want to be free, where you're going to need to be at any given time, and plan your weekend thoroughly. Then we have the same sort of thing for Saturday. A few changes in here, mainly that the LCQ has changed to the main event. The Galactic Open Day 1 has been added, and this little section in here for the Galactic Report has been added. 1:30 at the main stage. Well, it's almost certainly going to be the main stage. I'd be shocked if it wasn't anywhere else. If you can make time to be there for the Galactic Report, it would be awesome to be there live to see it. I would strongly recommend you doing so. You'll see that no panels are taking place in that time to free up a little bit of space for people to go and do so, and potentially even the devs to watch it and be a part of it. This will tell us about the future of Star Wars Unlimited. It'll hopefully, last year it showed us a lot about Secrets of Power, so hopefully this year it'll show us a lot about home worlds, to which we know next to nothing at this point. Hopefully show a lot about Icons as well, the other set coming in at the end of the year in November, and potentially also last year we saw the names for the 3 sets for the following year, so we might see names for sets 10, 11 and 12 coming in 2027. That would be cool as well. So yes, strongly recommend people go to the Galactic Report if you have the opportunity to do so. Moving on to Sunday, again here we've got the main event and its climax and the final ceremony. You've got the Galactic Open Day 2 and the Eternal Open taking place. A little bit of scheduled side events taking place, and revised deals for what panels are happening and when, and all the other same sort of times that were in there. Again, this information, these images are all in the download link, as is the actual raw Excel sheet that all 4 of these timelines came from. If you want to download it, customize it, tweak it to your personal use, please feel free to do so. That's what they're there for. Right, let's take a look at the events that are taking place. There are, 6 major types of events going on that you can play Star Wars Unlimited in at the Galactics. There's the Last Chance Qualifier, which is abbreviated to the LCQ, the main event itself, which is where the Galactic Champion and World Champion will be crowned for this year at the conclusion of Season 1. Then there'll be the Galactic Open and Eternal Open, which I'll go into a little bit more detail on later, imminently actually, and the 2 different types of side events, the scheduled ones and the on-demand ones. So let's take a look at those. The Last Chance Qualifier. If you do not have 100 points to pre-qualify yourself for the main event, you can still qualify in the Last Chance Qualifier. It will be 8 rounds of Swiss. You must win 7 of them to qualify for day 1 of the main event, which takes place on Saturday. The rewards for doing so are really, really good. You get all the prizes for having done really, really well in the LCQ, as well as for participating in day 1 of the main event, including that gorgeous Luke Skywalker map they showed off. Oh, that's one thing I'm not doing in this video. I'm not showing off what's in the prize wall, because this is intended to be the practical details as to what you can do and how you can organise your weekend at the Galactics. The prizing, all the details about the events themselves. If you're interested in those, they're on the Galactics website, the link to which is in the video description below. There's a lot of links down there. Please go through and explore that as much as you want to for the prize wall, what you're going to be getting or have the opportunity to get through the prize wall, or from winning various stages of the various events. That's what the Last Chance Qualifier will do. It's going to be an intensive day, but it could be very, very worth it. So, yeah, take it in mind. Oh, that's another thing. The LCQ, the Galactic Open, and the Eternal Opens are all served by buying tickets online through an event hub on melee.gg, to which the link is in the video description below. You go to those links, you can pay in order to enter the event. You do not do so on site through side event tickets. That's just for side events. If you want to participate in the LCQ, do so through the Melee Event Hub. Find it, pay for it, register for it, and go through it from there. The main event will also be served through the Melee Event Hub, but you don't need to pay to do so. You either qualify for it through the LCQ, or you've qualified through it through gaining 100 or more points in the leaderboard in Season 1. Right, yep, there we go. Cool. I think that's everything I need to on that one. Moving on to the main event. This is some details about it. Essentially, it's running on Saturday and Sunday. You'll win a load of prizes, you win a load of prize points, you get a load of participation stuff, you get a load of cards and black packs, and you can potentially become the world champion. This is the main reason for the Galactics. It's what will be going on. And the streams that will be happening throughout the weekend on Fantasy Flight's own YouTube channel, the link to which is in the video description below, we'll be covering the Last Chance Qualifier, the LCQ, and the main event almost exclusively. I don't see any world in which they cover other events that are taking place, although they may show you pictures from the event round and about that, but they'll be mainly showing those because that's the main draw. Other prizes you can get from the main event are you will get points for Season 2. So if you're a Day 2 player in the main event, if you're playing in the main event on Sunday, you've automatically qualified for the Galactics in 2027, which is great, because you're one of the best players in the world, obviously. And this is how the points will scale up for that. Just because that is not detailed on the Galactics website itself. It was detailed somewhere else, so I wanted to put it here so that it could be viewed on the record for any who were interested in having that information. Moving on to the Galactic Open. If you still want to play Premier in the highly competitive event, you want to get a load of prize award tickets, or have the chance to do so, and get some qualifier points towards Season 2, the Galactic Open is one way by which you can do it. It's a 2-day event across Saturday and Sunday for those who will not be in the main event. These are... Here we go. So, you will also be getting points for Season 2's leaderboard out of the Galactic Open, but unfortunately there's been a bit of confusion. When Fantasy Flight showed off the points for Season 2, they showed this particular graphic here for the Galactic Open, which is one set of points. But on the website itself, they say that the Galactic Open will be awarding points as per a sector qualifier for Season 2. And as you can see there's substantial differences in what's going on. I have no idea which is right. It is, to my knowledge, it's not been clocked anywhere or shared. Hopefully Fantasy Flight will see this, it will get asked, it will get answered, and it will be made clear what points people who are playing in the Galactic Open will get as and when they qualify. But as and when, that is currently an open question. Moving on to the Eternal Opens, they will be taking place on Sunday. There are 2 of them because the first one sold out really, really quickly. They put a second one on. Eternal Opens will be constructed decks, but Eternal, so almost all cards are legal with a few exceptions, like 2 or 3 of them have been banned at this point, I think, or suspended. You get prize wall tickets and you'll get qualifier points. There's no question on this one. They've said that you'll be getting qualifier points equal to a Season 2 planetary qualifier for taking place in an Eternal Open. So those are those points. Other events you can take place in, scheduled side events. These are all on the timetables earlier to show you when they are taking place. If you want to get involved in any of those, you will need side event tickets to do so, and you'll need to sign up and put your name down for them at the event hall itself on the day that you want to do so, which is fine. So the costs for these are going to be on the website. They'll be also printed and available for you to see at the Galactics. A side event ticket is worth will cost you $5 plus the relevant taxes. So bear that in mind. They will cost you. I mean, that carbonite sealed pod is going to cost you a ton compared to a normal draft or super sealed. So just be aware that you will need those, and you'll get prize tickets for competing and winning and playing and participating in these, which is great. On-demand side events are called on-demand because the terminology uses that they will fire as soon as enough people who want to fill a pod are all together and want to play, or the queue is sufficiently small enough that they finally get to and process you through to playing in a pod. My personal goal is to play as many Twin Suns pods as I possibly can. I very much hope to see some of you out there and get to play some of you in Twin Suns, which would be awesome. Moving on, experiences outside of playing the game in a format that we're used to normally. This is a quick overview on what those experiences are and will be, and we're going to go into a lot of them in more detail in a moment for those that we haven't already done so, because they're listed here, like the main event, Eternal Open, and also side events and so forth. So, here we go. This is a picture of last year's prize wall. This is roughly what it will look like, but with prizes updated to this year. Experiences from the top. Panels will be taking place, which I mentioned previously. There'll be a few people on a stage talking into a microphone and discussing the topic that's going on. Throughout the weekend, there's something like 10 or so odd panels. There'll be content creators up there. There'll be members of Fantasy Flight staff. There will be artists up there across the weekend and talking. And then there will also be Artist Alley, where you get to meet people who have done a lot of art for a lot of cards all the way through the life of Star Wars Unlimited, and get them to sign your cards, have a chat with them. They don't charge for the signings, or at least they didn't last year. If it's really, really busy, they might only sign 1 or 2 cards rather than let you just ramble on for a half an hour or so. But last year, if there was no queue at all, the artists were there. They were very, very happy to talk as much and about whatever you wanted to talk to them at. They were there for the fans. It was awesome. If you're interested at all in the art of Star Wars, get some signed cards, make some time to go and visit Artist Alley. And we'll just go into a little bit more detail in that in a moment, because I want to highlight the panels that are taking place. So we've got 4 happening here on Friday. All the details on these are highlighted as being subject to change, which is an interesting point, because I know for a fact that 2 more people have already been added to the Jumping into Competitive Play panel there, kicking off on Friday. So that will be interesting to see. These are the panels happening on Saturday. An interesting one I'd like to shout out here is the 4th one down, Putting the Unlimited to Star Wars Unlimited. The people on the panel for this one are all Fantasy Flight staff. They're the big people at Fantasy Flight. So you've got Danny Schaefer, who's in charge of Star Wars Unlimited, ultimately. Tyler Parrott helps him run it and create everything. Wesley is the marketing guy for all of Fantasy Flight. And Jim Cartwright used to be the VP of Fantasy Flight and now runs Fantasy Flight games completely. He is so dedicated to Star Wars Unlimited, he has tattoos of all the aspects down his arm. Hearing that, if you're at all interested in how Star Wars Unlimited came to be, that is going to be an extremely fascinating panel, I personally believe, amongst any and all of the others. So I wanted to shout that one out there, yeah. And on Sunday, these are the panels that are going to be taking place. I'm going to talk a little bit about the 3rd one there, What to Know Before You Head Home. That is very vague. And the reason for that is because last year they did something similar, and it was all about the newly announced expansion Secrets of Power at the time. So I expect that will be almost certainly all about Homeworlds, the final set for the penultimate set for 2026, because a month after that releases will be Icons. So they might be about Icons as well, but I expect it will be primarily about Homeworlds, what's going on in there. We'll see some of the cards in there, we'll see some of the things in the Spotlight deck, they'll go into a bit more detail. That was very, very popular on the Sunday last year, so if you want to see that, be there sooner rather than later, because that one's likely to get busy. Be advised. Right. Also, yeah, if you attend a panel, last year they gave out the tokens, which was the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter and the Clone Trooper and the Battle Droid. This year it is the tokens that you see in front of you. They will, I believe, once again be given out for attendance to a panel. Upon the panel's conclusion, when you leave, you'll get given a token pack, which is cool. So yeah, that's the thing. In the Artist's Alley, I'm showing off... Oh god, last year I showed off multiple slides with every single card that each artist had done, and it took ages to go through, and I'm not going to do that again. But I have picked out 3 cards from the newest set, Ashes of the Empire, that each of the artists have done that I really, really like to show off to you here. So these are 3 cards that have been done by Axel Hutt, who will be on site this year. These are 3 that have been done by Gabriel Gomez Almanzar. Particularly that Pre-Vizsla is going to be a very hot topic, I'm sure, over the course of the Galactics, if not further on from that. Johnny Morrow has done these ones here. That is the showcase I want most from this set, I must confess. It looks absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Oh yeah, maybe, if I'm lucky. Or, you know, get a massive bonus from work or something. Anyway, moving on. Omikan Sirit has done these cards here. He will be one of the artists in the Artist's Alley, of course, and probably on the panel as well. Haino has done these 3 here, as well as a whole load of other Star Wars cards through the life of the product and the game. And finally we have Vincent Dutré, who has done these cards here, and he did a lot of the as you can see, prestige cards for the set. That Rancor is beautiful. It's got a real Godzilla kind of vibe to it and sense of scale. It's such a wonderful piece. I'm very impressed with it. It's such a great bit of work there. But yep, there we go. So those are the artists who will be in Artist Alley, assuming that nothing changes, which it can always potentially change, of course. Anyway, right. Moving on to the rest of the experiences here. Designer Depot is what it was previously called, and they've changed it to Studio Showdowns because you will potentially not just be playing or meeting designers. You could be meeting Jack or anybody else who has had a role in Star Wars Unlimited but isn't a card designer. So they changed it to Studio Showdowns. So that'll be getting to play any of the devs or getting them to sign it or have a chat with them. That you'll be able to do in the Designer Depot. There we go. And there will be the Galactic Championship official show store. Last year that did... Oh, well, that's a picture from last year. You can see that right there. Last year they did t-shirts, hoodies, backpacks, water bottles, baseball hats, beanies, keychains. They did more than just that as well. They did art prints and a few other bits and bobs. The backpacks sold out really quickly, and the merchandise was very much a case of first come, first served. So if there's anything you particularly want, get there sooner rather than later would be my advice. There we go. Oh, just going back briefly. Baseball caps were popular. They did cunning, aggression, vigilance, and command. And this year they're also adding in villainy and heroism. So if you want to round out a collection, then do so. I might get one myself this year. We'll see. I'll have to think about it. Content Creator Zone. I mentioned earlier this is where a space put aside for anybody who makes Star Wars Unlimited content, is affiliated with Fantasy Flight, will be able to go to that space and arrange for community meetups, have a game, meet the fans, chat, whatever you want to do to get to know them. If they will be there, they will make it known on their various social medias and content platforms, so keep an eye on that. And, ask them if you want to meet them there. That could be a cool thing. Every content creator, as I think I said earlier, loves to meet people who enjoy their work. I know I do. It means a lot to me when it happens, so that is something I would strongly encourage. If you see someone that you recognise from Star Wars Unlimited content, do go up and say hi. Assuming they're not like in the middle of a game or something, of course. Anyway, Learn to Play Zone. If you want to learn to play the game, if you've got people with you who want to learn to play the game, there will be people dedicated to teaching Star Wars Unlimited, whether it's single player or Twin Suns or anything else in there. Go and feel free to check that one out. There will be a pin passport like last year. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in just a second. There'll be photo opportunities. There you see a picture of the life-size Millennium Falcon cockpit they had on site last year. That will be returning, as well as a few other displays. The pin passport itself, there are going to be 9 pins you can get and collect around the event. They'll be done for doing various little check-ins. So if you get an artist signing, you'll be able to get a pin. If you duel a dev, you'll be able to get a pin. That sort of thing. I don't know exactly what the criteria are, but that is the plan for what those pins are. There are 2 more pins which are not on the pin passport that we know about. There's a Luke one and a Palpatine one from the spotlights for the new set Ashes of the Empire. They will be available only to competitive players for taking part in day 1 of the main event and day 2 of the main event. Or was it the Galactic Open? One of the 2 of those. Either way, you will not be able to get those through the pin passport, sadly. If you want to get them, you'll have to work out another way of doing so. There was also a secret pin last year that was not advertised in advance, so I don't know, keep your eyes open, ask people, who knows. Maybe they'll give you a little bit of information, let something slip. Right, Chill Zone. There we had some sofas, as you can see, tables. It's where just go to calm down and chill out. The Chill Zone will be available for people to make use of, and a family zone for kids if you want to go and or do some Crayola mindful colouring. I'm not going to judge you. I'll potentially do so themselves. FFG have also said there's going to be a massive Lego display or some form of Lego display taking place, and there are bricks and minifigs on hand as well, so it'll be very interesting to see what they've got in mind to put on and show off and potentially have on sale. That'll be nice to see. Information booth, if you want information about the event, have a question about any sort of practicality stuff that I haven't answered for you or you need answering on site, go to an information desk. They will be able to answer your questions, and if they don't, they will find a way to answer your questions, I would hope. And in terms of exhibitors, you can see a picture there of the Gamegenic shop. as they are one of the exhibitors that will be on site. As we went through a few of those earlier in the map. Asmodee is one of them. They do a whole load of board games and card games, and ultimately they own Fantasy Flight Games. Gamegenic Supplies is also owned by Asmodee, I understand, and they do all the accessories, official accessories for Star Wars Unlimited, and the Galactic Championship official show store that we touched on briefly earlier in this video. Other exhibitors that will be taking place: k.a. cards, trading card games enthusiasts, so I expect they will have Star Wars Unlimited cards on sale, potentially some singles, as will Tier 1 Games, as will Rochester CCG, Bricks and Minifigs, as I mentioned earlier. What have we got here? One Stop Aftermarket Lego Toy Shop, so there will be Lego stuff on site, and obviously Star Wars Lego is a massive, massive subset of Lego. I'm sure there will be some interesting things there to see and enjoy. FAQs. These are all official FAQs that are on the SWU website for the Galactics 2026. I'm not going to read through those, or these, sorry, entry by entry, but I will touch on any that jump out at me as being worthy of particular attention. Specifically in this case, if you lose your badge, tough. You will not be given a free one. You will not be checked to see if you've purchased one. They will ask you to buy another one, and if you don't, then you can't come back in. Take good care of your badge. You can pick up your badge there and then at those times. Nobody else can pick up your badge for you. You will be required to present ID to pick up your badge, and the ID last year when I checked was it had to be government issued ID that obviously matched your bookings that you'd made for doing so. Can I get a refund? No, you can't. If you've bought a ticket, that money is Fantasy Flight's. They will not give it back to you under any circumstances whatsoever. Many people have asked, many people have been turned away. If you have an issue with your ticket or any kind of practicalities, or you want to ask for information, there are email addresses. They're mentioned here. If they're relating to the Galactics themselves in any way, shape or form, then the email address is unlimited@fantasyflightgames.com, or if it's to do with Melee GG, then contact the Melee platform holders themselves, contact@Melee GG, which is fine. And if you have any under 18s who want to play Star Wars in any of the events this weekend, they need to have a signed parental consent form, as I mentioned there. It can be downloaded, it can be emailed, it can probably be printed off and handed in person, but I wouldn't want to guarantee that because that's not what it says here. Check that out in advance, make sure you do what you need to do so your minor can play the game that hopefully they love. But convention exclusives will be available. What are convention exclusives? Convention exclusives is a box of 6 cards. They've previously only been available so far at the UK Games Expo. They'll be available on site for the Galactics at the Asmodee Game Store. The method by which they did so last year was you had to sign up for it at a certain time to reserve your ability to go and buy it. Fantasy Flight have not said if that will be the case again, but there's a reasonable chance that it will be. So if you want these, keep your eye on updates and news in order to be able to acquire these over the Galactics weekends. These are the 6 cards they contain. The Zam Wessel one is from the Homeworld set. The others are from Lawless Time and Ashes of the Empire. And if these pictures don't excite you, comparatively in person they look so much better because there's spot glossing on them, there's texturing. Seeing them in person, these pictures don't do them justice in any way, shape or form. They look so good in person, so if you get the chance to, do try and get a look at them one way or the other. And also the artist for all 6 of them is one of the artists who will be in Artist Alley. Wouldn't it be cool to get a set of them and get them signed by the artist? That might be pretty nice. So if that's something that interests you, track down Vincent Dutay and ask and gush over his work. I'm sure he will very much appreciate it. Right, going back to the FAQs, a few more things that are in there. Again, you can, if you want to read these in more detail, obviously pause them and do so. What's worth mentioning out of these? Nobody else can pick up your items for you. If you're not going to the Galactics and you've paid for a ticket, they will not be posted to you. You can't collect them. You're going to have to be there in person to collect the things and the swag that you've paid for. That is just the way it is, and that's what they've said. Accessibility issues and details about what's going on with those, which is something that I will mention. Seating available for or reserved seating available for stages, badge pickup lines, all this sort of thing are there. If you're struggling and you have accessibility needs, ask them. They will provide it for you. or maybe ask somebody also helpfully in the queue with you or next to you or near you to see if they will go and sort it out for you if you can't. Nobody needs to wait and suffer in pain. Are you bringing props or costume? Read this, because there's a whole load of restrictions. If you're bringing costume, then I respect you. That'll be awesome. I'm very tempted myself, but we shall see if that actually happens, because a Jedi robe is going to be hot in Vegas, and I appreciate it'll be aircon in the hall, but I don't know. We'll see. It'll also take up luggage space. Undecided. That is the end of the facts of the Galactics itself. What is to come are learnings that I've had from my research into this and from attending last year and coming into this year. So these are things that I'd like you to consider if you're going to Galactics, things that you should probably bear in mind and be aware of. You should, if you're looking to play in the last chance qualifier, the main event, Galactic Opens and Eternals, your deck should be freshly sleeved. If you don't want to get deck checked and given a game loss or disqualified or worse, just freshly sleeve your deck. It's an easy thing you can do ahead of time. It'll cost you some money, but you can prepare for it and it'll avoid you problems on the day that might compromise your ability to perform as well as you otherwise would in the tournaments. Bring a spare set. Who knows? Maybe something will go wrong and you'll need a spare set. There will almost certainly be vendors selling sleeves on site, but they might not be the sleeves that you like or are used to for your cards. Also, as a general rule, even if the sleeves look the same or the same type from the same brand, there are occasionally individual changes between different packs and they look slightly different. So it's always a good idea to make sure that your deck is in sleeves from one pack at a time. Pack of sleeves. Bring the tokens that you need. Bring any notepads and pens and so forth. People like to write down their scores, especially at the top end of competitive play, so that is a thing. I'd advise bringing some sleeves and top loaders for any new cards you might get off the prize wall or prizes that you win. Please bring at least one Twin Suns, maybe even two, or Trilogy decks if you want to play them. Twin Suns is, I will die on this hill quite happily, the most fun way to play Star Wars Unlimited. Just bring one way or another. If you need help or tips on finding a Twin Suns deck, the pre-constructed decks are wonderful and right there, able to buy. I've also got my sets of Twin Suns decks that are linked to in a number of places. I'll probably put a link to those in this channel video description below as well, which is like 14 commons and uncommons only Twin Suns decks using pairings of leaders who should go together, just to give you an idea of what you might want to build and build on and bring and play some Twin Suns with. It's such good fun. Bring a power bank for your phone. It's common sense. Just don't forget to do so, and don't forget to make sure it's charged. If you want to do some trades, bring some trades with you, and bring a water bottle, because why wouldn't you want to bring a water bottle? It's always big and clever to stay hydrated, and that is a thing that will not be in short supply. It wasn't last year, and I have no reason to expect it would be again this year. So obviously bring extras. That these are the things that I would encourage everybody to make sure they think solidly about bringing if they haven't already done so or have good reasons not to. Considerations are things that I'd like to ask you to bear in mind for attending the Galactics and for getting the most out of the experience. Bring government issued ID. This won't be an issue for international travellers because you'll obviously have your passport, but in order to pick up your tickets for the event, last year Fantasy Flight specified when I checked that they wanted government issued ID in order to hand out your badge for the event and the swag that you get with your badge. So make sure you've got government issued ID on hand and you bring it with you and don't leave it in the hotel room or something. Make sure you've sorted out a data plan on your mobile, whether you've got a dedicated SIM for use in the US, maybe you've got roaming on your international thing. Maybe it's not an issue for you because you live in the US, but make sure you've got a plan for sorting out your mobile data needs because you will want them, I'm fairly certain. Likewise, Wi-Fi in the halls can be a thing and should be a thing, but last year it took them a while to turn it on, so don't rely on it. Hopefully they've learned, and hopefully it'll be on from the very, very get-go this time. You'll be able to make use of it for reporting all your results in Melee, because it's going to be needed for Melee. So yeah, Wi-Fi is a thing. Maybe not 100% of the time though. Obviously, it's in Las Vegas in the United States. You will need to have US dollars on hand if you want to be able to buy anything at a reasonable rate without suffering exchange rates every time you do so on various card forms that do so. Make sure you've got that all sorted. The Galactics, every vendor in the Galactics will be taking card. They will not be accepting cash. That has been stated up front. Obviously, if you want to bring cash, then that's completely up to you. But let's face it, most places take cards these days. And if you want to eat somewhere, go somewhere, they're probably taking card. But who knows? I'm not going to get yum if you want to bring some cash with you. Every price that has been listed and shown somewhere. This won't be news to the US people who are watching this, because obviously this is the way you live all the time. But this is not the way across the world. The prices that you see listed will not be what you pay. When Fantasy Flight say side event tickets will cost you $5, they will not cost you $5, they will cost you more. Every one that I bought last year that was $5, I think I paid $6 for, with all the various sales taxes on top. So when you're budgeting and when you're planning the amount of money that you've got and what you're paying and what you're spending, what you see is not the price you'll be paying. Be aware of that. It is a thing, and you will not be able to avoid it. Last year, food and drink was explicitly not allowed to be brought into the venue from outside. This has not been categorically stated anywhere in the terms this year. However, I thoroughly expect it to be the way again, because they want you to buy things from the concessions in store, because that's how they're going to make some money off you. Having said that, bring a water bottle. Last year there were water top-up points and chillers at many locations around the event hall. They're available to use, they're free. Do so, top up your water, stay hydrated. It is big and clever, do so. And finally, in a change from last year, there will be no luggage storage available on site at the Galactics. You'll either have to hoik it around with you or leave it in your hotel room or something else. You won't be able to leave it in there unless you find somewhere in the Venetian and convince them to take in and store your luggage at a cost, which is totally on you to research and look into if you want to do that. Friday is day one of the Galactics. I want to state this, and I want to state what's coming up next in the following couple of bullet points, because I'm sure there will be confusion around it. The terms day one and day two have been used to refer to different events and different things, and they refer to different days. Friday is day one of the Galactics. Saturday is day two of the Galactics, but it is day one of the main event, and it is day one of the Galactic Open. That is a thing. Make sure if someone says day one or day two, you know exactly what they're talking about, and therefore what day they're talking about. Likewise, Sunday is day three, but Sunday will be day two of the main event and day two of the Galactic Open in exactly the same way. Prize wall tickets are all physical, hard bits of card they will give you. If you lose them, tough. You can therefore give them away to people or trade them or do whatever you want to do with them. They will not be digital. They will give you bits of paper. This has been stated on the Galactics website. Deal with it. It's just the thing. The queue to enter the hall, it's a large open area with a massive glass wall that will be very bright and the sun will be beating down on you like a hammer. It can be very long. It will get very, very hot. And when I'm saying very long, what I'm talking about is people will start queuing an hour to an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours before the door to enter the Galactics actually opens. I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying that's what happened last year, and if that is important to you or matters to you, you should bear that in mind and act as you need to in order to get what you want at the weekend. The Twin Suns showcases are one of the big high-profile things on the prize wall this weekend, or the Galactics weekend. They will be limited to one per specific showcase card per person. I assume there's going to be some sort of digital check that will check against the ID to see whether or not you've already got them. They have the ability to do so, and did so last year with regards to whether or not you were entering panels and so forth, because that was outside the main hall. So I imagine there'll be a QR code on your badge that will be scanned and verified to check off whether or not you've had that particular Twin Suns showcase already if you try and buy more than one. So yeah, be aware of that. The Game Genics stall is a thing. Last year, the Game Genics stall had accessories on display from the unreleased Secrets of Power expansion. Therefore, I believe it likely that once again, Game Genics stall may have product from future sets on display if you want to get a look and see what's coming. If you want to get a sneak peek at some of the art of what's going to be happening, check out the Game Genics stall. There's going to be some treasure there. When I went to go and see them at UK Games Expo, they had the previously unrevealed and unshown off Mandalorian showcase that I mentioned earlier as being gorgeous. Check it out. There'll be some good stuff. I'm pretty certain. You might want to arrange to buy single cards on the day and pick them up at Galactics. If so, There are those 3 exhibitors I mentioned earlier, which were a.k.a., Rochester, and Twin One, I thought, whatever it was, the one, something one. Contact them. They're going to be on social media, they'll be on Facebook, they'll have websites with abilities to contact them. Get in touch with them and ask what their inventory is, ask if you can reserve, ask if you can pay ahead of time for collection on the day. Find out what's going on if acquiring singles at the event is something that you're interested in doing. Don't wait and hope, or do, I'm not your supervisor, but that is a thing that you can do, and it's an option that is open to you, so be aware of that. Last year, the Galactics was spread across 2 floors. There was halls A and B, and below that were a sequence of function rooms, which is where they held most of their panels and held meetings and so forth. The ticket giveaway, the ticket booths were on the ground floor, and this year everything's all going to be on one floor, so no going up and down stairs and escalators and lifts. That is a massive convenience win, and I'm really happy to hear it. Thank you very much, FFG. Much appreciated. They have stated that the Millennium Falcon life-size cockpit and the life-size TIE Fighter will both be returning as photo ops, as well as some more things that have not been specified. If you want to get a picture against the TIE Fighter, awesome, do so. The queue for the Millennium Falcon cockpit got big at times, but it can take a few people. They also had areas where there was like massive standees for looking like you're inside the Death Star or on sites, and they had people in cosplay up there that you could go up to and have pictures against as if they were arresting you or fighting or whatever you wanted to do. Photo ops are cool. Make some time for it. It's just another piece of the experience, isn't it? It's all about the fun and the memories. Finally, the last piece of advice that I have and would like to offer you is what the spirit of this video is all about. If you know everything that's going on, if you know when it's going on and where it's going on, you can plan your weekend, you can work out what the priorities are for you, you can work out what's important to you and prioritise having the most memorable, fun, enjoyable event that you possibly can for your Star Wars Galactics weekend. And if you know what that is ahead of time, then you're not going to have as much of an issue with potentially missing out on things that you didn't know were taking place and would want to check out. Having said that, stuff does change. Things might happen that you weren't expecting, things might turn out to be different. Last year, the queues for side events got so prohibitive that I went away and viewed a load of panels on the Friday and the Saturday, and I really loved it. It was great to do. I didn't waste my time standing in queues for hours on not playing the game. So if stuff changes, if circumstances change, don't be afraid to reevaluate what your priorities are, what you want to do. This is your weekend, but nobody's going to make sure you enjoy it other than yourself. So be aware of that and do what you need to. And remember, we're all in the same boat in the hall together. We're all Star Wars Unlimited fans. We're all looking to have an awesome weekend. So that's it from me. This video is being produced alongside one by C Raptor, who I think is doing his primarily on prize wall tickets and making the most out of what to do and where to get from those. There will be a link to that in the video description below, along with all the other links that are in there. C Raptor is an amazing guy. Absolutely go and watch his video. It will go into a lot of detail and have a lot of information about what to expect and how to make the most out of acquiring the prize tickets, or the volume of prize tickets you might want to get the stuff that you want, the swag that you want. Otherwise, I really look forward to seeing you there. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you see this, I would love to hear if this is useful to you, if there's anything not in here that you wish would have been in here. What else can I say? Enjoy the Galactics.